car lurched to a stop so hard the seatbelt cut into his shoulder. Jinwoo Park slammed his palm against the steering wheel, heart pounding, breath sharp. The girl had come out of nowhere. 1 second the road was clear, the next she was there. Small, barefoot, holding a cracked plastic bucket that tipped and sent cloudy water spilling across the asphalt. "Hey!" he shouted, already pushing the door open. She stumbled back, eyes wide, then froze, not crying, not screaming, just staring at the black luxury car like it might swallow her whole. People nearby turned to look. Jinwoo stepped out, suit jacket still on, phone buzzing in his pocket with calls he ignored. He crouched in front of her, hands raised. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. Her braids were uneven. One shoe was missing. Soap clung to her fingers. "I was just washing," she said. Her voice was calm, too calm for someone who'd almost been hit. He glanced at the bucket, at the rag, at the coins scattered on the ground. Then he saw the bracelet. His breath left him in one long, silent exhale. Blue, red, yellow, green, purple, repeated twice, a white bead at the center. His fingers twitched. "No," he whispered, barely audible. The girl noticed his stare and pulled her wrist back. "My mama said it keeps me safe." Jinwoo swallowed. His chest felt tight, like something old had woken up and was pushing from the inside. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ao." He nodded slowly. "I'm Yinwoo." She looked past him, toward the street. "If you don't want me to wash your car, it's okay. I didn't scratch it." "That's not." He stopped himself. People were watching. Phones were out. He straightened, pulled his wallet out, and handed her a folded stack of bills without counting. Her eyes widened. "That's too much." "Take it," he said. His voice was firmer than he meant it to be. "Please." She hesitated, then took it with both hands. "Thank you," she said. Then, after a pause, "You look sad." The words hit harder than the near accident. He didn't answer, just got back into the car and drove away, hands shaking on the wheel. If you're enjoying stories like this, stories that don't let go, take a second to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. It helps this channel more than you think. Now listen closely, because nothing in this story is accidental. That night, Jinwoo couldn't sleep. He sat in his penthouse overlooking Seoul's river lights. Bracelet burned into his memory. He'd made one just like it when he was 12, for his sister, the day before she vanished. He hadn't seen that pattern in 20 years. By morning, he'd convinced himself it meant nothing. By afternoon, he was back on that road. Ao was there again. Same bucket, same bracelet. "You came back," she said. "I did," he replied. "Are you always here?" "After school hours," she said. "When I don't go." Something in the way she said it bothered him. He brought food the next day, books the day after that. Never stayed long, never crossed the line. Just enough to pretend it was charity. Just enough to lie to himself. "You read?" he asked one evening. She shook her head. "But I want to." He opened a book, pointed to a word. "This says home." She repeated it carefully. "Home." She smiled like she'd just unlocked a door. From a distance, her mother watched. Mirella was taller than Jinwoo expected. Dark-skinned, Korean accent softened by years of moving. Her eyes never left her daughter. "Why are you helping us?" she asked one night, arms crossed. "I can," Jinwoo said. "That's not an answer." He met her gaze. "It's the honest one." She studied him, then nodded once. "Don't make promises you won't keep." "I won't." That was the first lie he told her. At work, things started slipping. Meetings delayed. Calls missed. His assistant noticed. "You've been leaving early," she said. "I've been efficient," Jinwoo replied. "You've been distracted." He didn't deny it. Weeks passed. He paid for Ao's school supplies, helped with enrollment. When paperwork became a problem, he pushed harder than he ever had in business. One evening, Mirella finally asked the question he'd been avoiding. "You keep looking at me like you're trying to remember something," she said. "Why?" His mouth went dry. "Where did you get that bracelet?" he asked. She frowned. "It was given to me. Long time ago." "By who?" She shook her head. "I don't know. I don't remember much from before I was moved." Moved. The word landed heavy. Jinwoo drove home in silence, memory flooding back. Police stations, posters, his mother's screams. He ordered a DNA test the next day. Didn't tell anyone why. When Mirella agreed, her hands shook. "If this is a mistake," she said quietly. You will walk away. If it's not, he replied. None of us will ever be the same. She looked at him for a long moment. I've been surviving my whole life, she said. I don't know what comes after answers. Neither did he. And for the first time since he was a boy, Jinwoo Park was afraid of the truth. The waiting changed everything. Jinwoo told himself it was just a test. Paperwork. Data. Numbers lined up in a lab somewhere. But his body didn't believe that. His body reacted like it always had when the past came close. Tight chest. Short temper. Sleep that came in pieces. Mirella stopped letting him walk her home. I don't want neighbors asking questions, she said. They already talk. I can keep my distance. You already crossed it. That wasn't said with anger. It was said with caution. Like someone who had learned that attention, even kind attention, had consequences. Ao noticed. You're quieter, she told him one afternoon as they sat on the curb, book open between them. I'm thinking, Jinwoo said. About what? About whether thinking helps. She nodded like that made sense. Mama says thinking is good but worrying steals your breath. He almost laughed. Almost. That night, Mirella confronted him. You didn't tell me why you really want that test, she said. He didn't pretend. Because I lost someone once. Her eyes narrowed. Everyone loses someone. Not like this. Silence stretched. The kind that invites truth or kills it. My sister disappeared, he said. 20 years ago. Same bracelet. Same pattern. I made it. Mirella sat down slowly. That's not possible, she said. I know. You don't know what I remember, she said, voice tight. You don't know what I don't. That's why I asked, he said. Not because I'm sure. Because I'm not. She pressed her palms into her knees. If this brings danger, it won't. You don't know that. He did know something, though. People like him could create danger without meaning to. Tension. Power. Curiosity. I'll protect you, he said. She looked at him sharply. From who? He didn't answer. At the office, the cracks widened. You skipped the board review, his assistant said. I read the summary. They waited for you. They'll wait again. She studied him. This isn't like you. I know. What's changed? He thought of a small wrist. Bright beads. A white center. Perspective, he said. The test results took longer than promised. During that time, Jinwoo did something reckless. He took Ao to an amusement park. Mirella argued. It's too much. People will see. Let them, Jinwoo said. She deserves a day. Ao clutched his hand the entire time. Her laughter was sharp and sudden, like she wasn't used to releasing it. On the roller coaster, she screamed, then laughed, then screamed again. Are you scared? She yelled. Yes, he yelled back. Me too. That night, Mirella cried. I don't want to owe you, she said, voice breaking. I've owed people before. This isn't debt, Jinwoo said. It's care. Those get confused. He didn't push. He never did. He just stayed. Sat on the floor. Let the silence settle. The call came on a Tuesday. Jinwoo answered it alone. He didn't hear the words at first. Just the pause. The careful tone. The way the technician said his name like it mattered. Are you still there? She asked. Yes, he said barely. There is a match. The room felt smaller. High probability. The voice continued. Immediate family. Jinwoo closed his eyes. Thank you, he said, and ended the call before she could say anything else. He drove without thinking. Parked in front of Mirella's apartment. Sat there for 10 minutes, hands on the wheel, breathing like he'd just run a mile. When she opened the door, she knew. You look like someone just told you who you are, she said. It's true, he said. You're my sister. She shook her head slowly. No. Yes. No, she said again louder. I don't remember you. That doesn't make it less real. It does to me. Ao watched from the hallway. Mama? She asked softly. Mirella's voice broke. Go inside. Ao hesitated, then obeyed. Mirella stepped back. You don't get to rewrite my life because you found a pattern, she said. I'm not rewriting, Jinwoo said. I'm returning. You're disrupting, she snapped. I built this. It's not much, but it's mine. I know. You don't. She turned away, covered her face. When she spoke again, it was quieter. What if I don't want them? She asked. What if I don't want to remember? Jinwoo felt the weight of it. This wasn't a reunion. It was an invasion of a self she'd had to protect. You don't have to choose now, he said. But you already did, she replied. You chose me. He nodded. I did. She let out a shaky laugh. That's dangerous. Yes. The parents came later. Jinwoo told them carefully, slowly. His mother dropped the phone. His father sat down hard. She's alive. His mother kept repeating. She's alive. Meeting them was Mireille's decision. When it happened, it wasn't cinematic. No running. No screaming. Just 4 adults sitting in a room, staring at each other like strangers sharing a language they'd forgotten how to speak. I'm sorry, Mireille said first. I don't know how to be what you lost. Elizabeth Park reached out, then stopped herself. We don't need you to be anything, she said. We just need you here. Ao climbed into Jinwoo's lap halfway through. Why is everyone crying? She asked. He kissed her hair. Because sometimes happy feels like pain when it's been gone too long. Mireille watched that. Watched the ease. The trust. Something in her shifted. Not healed. Not fixed. But acknowledged. The house came next. Jinwoo bought it without asking. Then apologized. I won't live there, Mireille said. I know, he said. It's just yours. She walked through the room slowly. Touched the walls. Opened windows. It's too quiet, she said. You'll fill it. Ao ran down the hallway screaming with joy. School started a week later. Uniform crisp. Backpack new. At the gate, Ao squeezed Jinwoo's hand. Will you still come? She asked. Every chance I get. She nodded, then paused. You won't disappear? He crouched to her level. Looked her straight in the eyes. No, he said. I'm done losing people. She smiled and ran inside. Jinwoo stood there long after she vanished into the building. The truth had come, but it didn't bring peace. It brought responsibility, and something else. A quiet, unsettling thought he couldn't shake. What if finding her hadn't saved her? What if it had only changed who would get hurt next? The story should have ended there. That was the lie Jinwoo told himself. Instead, it grew teeth. The first article appeared online 3 days after Ao's first day at school. No names. No photos, just speculation wrapped in admiration. A powerful executive, a hidden family, a charity angle dressed up like destiny. Jinwoo read it twice, then a third time. He hadn't told anyone outside his parents. He hadn't announced anything. He hadn't even moved Mireille into the house yet. Someone had been watching. He called his assistant. Who knows where I've been going? He asked. There was a pause. Security, she said carefully. Drivers, building staff. Anyone talk to press? Not that I know of. There was a program. Informal. Children moved across borders without documentation. Labor. Domestic work. Some disappearances. Jinwoo closed his eyes. Was she? No proof, the investigator said. But patterns. Patterns again. Always patterns. He told Mireille everything. She didn't cry. Didn't shout. She just nodded. So even my not remembering was trained, she said. No, Jinwoo said. You survived. She looked at him sharply. And now? Now you choose, he said. That was the moment she believed him. Not fully, but enough. They moved into the house together. Slowly, carefully. No announcements. No photos. Ao claimed a room and painted stars on the ceiling with Jinwoo on a ladder. Both of them laughing when he nearly fell. Mireille watched from the doorway, arms crossed, eyes wet. Later, when Ao was asleep, she spoke. If this falls apart, she said. She goes with me. Yes, Jinwoo replied without hesitation. And you won't chase us. He nodded. I won't cage you. She exhaled. Good. The next morning, Jinwoo woke to a message. A file. Inside were scanned documents. Old. Partial. Names blurred. One clear photograph. A young girl. The bracelet visible on her wrist. Taken years after she'd disappeared. Jinwoo felt cold settle into his bones. Someone had known. Someone had watched her grow up. And they were watching again. Jinwoo didn't sleep. He sat at the kitchen table until dawn, the file open on his tablet, scrolling through it again and again like the details might rearrange themselves into something kinder. They didn't. The photograph was real. The metadata confirmed it. Taken years after his sister vanished. Taken by someone who had known exactly what to look for. The bracelet. The child. Proof of continuity. Which meant one thing. This hadn't been a tragedy. It had been a system. By morning, Jinwoo had made a decision. He didn't tell Mirela right away. He didn't want fear to become the first emotion of the day. Instead, he took Ao to school himself. Walked her to the gate. Knelt down. If anyone ever asks you questions about your family, he said carefully, you don't answer. You tell a teacher. Or you call me. Ao frowned. Am I in trouble? No, he said. You're important. She smiled at that and ran off. The smile stayed with him as he drove to the office. Then he started making calls. Not to the police. Not yet. To journalists who owed him favors. To lawyers who specialized in quiet cases. To one former prosecutor who hated traffickers more than he loved retirement. By noon, a picture was forming. The program the investigator mentioned wasn't gone. It had evolved. Cleaned itself up. Rebranded. Children without records were still moving. Still vanishing. Still ending up in homes and businesses that asked no questions. And someone had recognized Mirela. Not because she was his sister. Because she was a loose end. That night, Jinwoo told her everything. She listened without interrupting. Without sitting down. When he finished, she said one thing. So they're still out there. Yes. And now they know where we are. Yes. She nodded slowly. Then you shouldn't have come into our lives. The words hurt, but he understood what she meant. I won't leave, he said. But I won't decide for you. She looked at him for a long time. Then at Ao, asleep on the couch, bracelet loose around her wrist. They took my childhood, Mirela said quietly. I won't let them take hers. That was her decision. The investigation moved fast after that. Documents leaked. Names surfaced. Patterns connected. Jinwoo used his influence deliberately this time. Not to bury stories, but to force them into the light all at once. No warning. No negotiation. By the time authorities acted, several people had already fled. But not all of them. One arrest made the news. Then another. Then silence. Too much silence. You're making enemies, his father warned. I already had them, Jinwoo replied. The threat never came directly. Came as pressure. Ao's school received anonymous complaints. Mirela's past was questioned. Jinwoo's board demanded explanations. He stepped down as CEO without a fight. Temporary, they said. He didn't correct them. Life narrowed. The house felt smaller. The nights longer. One evening, Ao asked the question no one wanted. Why did bad people want Mama when she was little? Mirela froze. Jinwoo answered. Because some people think children are things, he said. And some people forget they were children once. Ao considered that. Are they gone now? Some of them, he said. Will they come back? He didn't lie. I don't know. She nodded. If they do, I'll hold your hand. Something in Jinwoo broke open then. Not loudly. Quietly. Permanently. Months passed. The story faded from the news. Replaced by other scandals. Other outrages. The system didn't disappear. It never does. But it shifted. Mirela started remembering things. Small flashes. Smells. A song in a language she didn't speak anymore. Sometimes it hurt. Sometimes it helped. Jinwoo learned how to exist without control. Without titles. Without armor. Ao learned how to read. Then how to argue. Then how to ask questions that made adults uncomfortable. One afternoon, she asked him, if you hadn't stopped your car that day, would you have found us? Jinwoo thought about the file. The photograph. The watchers. No, he said. But someone else might have. She frowned. So it wasn't luck. No, he said. It was timing. That night, after everyone was asleep, Jinwoo stood on the balcony and looked out over the city. Somewhere out there were children still wearing invisible bracelets. Still waiting for someone to recognize them. He had changed one story. Not the ending. Just the direction. And that would have to be enough. If this story kept you listening, if it made you feel something uncomfortable or true, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. These stories exist because you choose to stay until the end.